You're watching the CG Live podcast. Now, the content for these podcasts are a little bit different than our normal pods as we bring on members and do long-form interviews. These were actually recorded live at our events with members that were going on stage to present, so the content is killer. Enjoy the show. Welcome into the Collective Genius Podcast. We are here at our Q1 event, Dallas, Texas, JW Marriott Arts District, great hotel, great company, 250, 300 of the nation's top real estate entrepreneurs gathering in one city for a Q1 event. We are in day 3, and this meeting has been fantastic, and we are going to end with a bang for this particular meeting. We saved the best for last. Please welcome in longtime CG member. She's been on the pod before, and it's great to get an update. And it's great to always see you. Miss Stephanie Betters, welcome in.
Thanks for having me.
It's always good to see you. I said in the pre-show that we have now, I think, this is the 8th podcast that we have done here at this event. And the impact that you are having, and I don't even know if you know this, but I think almost every single podcast that we did yesterday, there were 6 of them, your name was mentioned on almost every single one of them.
That's amazing. I had no idea.
Isn't that cool when you're making impact and you don't know, but then you hear it and you're like, man, I do what I do because I love it. And when I can actually have impact, it's just fulfilling. Makes you want to get up every day and run to work, right?
I'm so humbled to hear that. That's amazing.
Well, I mean, we had guys like Pat Martin on here that clearly you've helped. They've doubled their business. They've had to put in the work, but they did a lot of auditing. And they talked about data. Ryan Wymer talked about data, and you've been preaching that from the rooftops since I've met you about knowing your information and using that data to realize that, like Ryan Wymer, you lost 1,000 deals. You may have done 200 and you did well, but how much better could you have done if you would have gotten another 100 of those 1,000 that you lost and get another 200 of those before? I mean, that's ultimately what everyone was saying, where you've really helped them. So for those that don't know you or not listen to the previous pod, let's get an introduction here so we can reset that and we can talk about this meeting, what you've seen, the pain points of everyone, and how this meeting has maybe helped bridge the gaps for a lot of our investors. But let's start with what you do and where you do it. This is going to be about 5 minutes because she does a lot of things. So let's go.
Oh, goodness. All right. So I'm based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. I've been investing in real estate since 2007, but truly as a business since 2014. Mm-hmm. So it's crazy to say, we're 12 years into this gig. I started that investment company with my husband and then later merged with a third partner, Jeff Johnson, in 2018. So our investment company does wholesaling, fix and flips, new build construction. We've done it all. I've bought multifamily and things like that too. But the way my investment business right now looks basically 50-50. There's been years where it's been different on both sides, where the wholesaling was and wholetailing and flipping was more than the new build construction. We've kind of gone back and forth. But as it stands, we're about 50-50 new build construction and wholesale, and a couple, 5-10 flips a year.
So the experience on the investment side, new construction, but I think where most people know you is from, the Left Main.
Yeah.
And that's where really a lot of people, clearly you can give a lot of help on building an organization, but where you really, we heard your name the most yesterday was helping people realize what they have and organizing data through your CRM, Left Main.
Yeah. So Left Main was just kind of this wonderful thing that came out of growing my own investment company and trying to solve my own problems, which there's many, and they're different every year. So back in 2018, I built our own Salesforce our own CRM on Salesforce, and about a year later, a couple months after we built it, Salesforce asked to partner, and we went live in January 2020 as a platform. And it's really cool because we were using that for our own company, and then everybody was like, well, what's working for you guys, and how are you scaling your operations? And a lot of it came down to the systems that we were using, and Left Main being the main one. So it's been really cool to see how that's grown over the last 6 years. And I have never had more fun in my life. I love solving these kinds of problems, and it's so personal, and that's why I get so moved by people saying things like I had no idea. But it's so personal because these are my friends, and this is my company too. And it's really awesome to solve problems at this scale and to impact small businesses and seeing somebody's business here improve, like doubles their income, right?
Yeah.
Like these are small businesses where we can change their whole family, their whole dynamic, a whole legacy, It's so rewarding to do that versus, trying to sell product to like IBM and
Sure.
increase their profit margin by 0.5% and they're thrilled. It's,
you
it's
can
so
see
rewarding.
true impact.
Yeah.
Like, Pat Martin and Cobra, and we're talking about going from 4 million in 1 year to 10 million the next year. Yeah. I mean, you want to talk about, you're not moving aircraft carriers here. This is a massive change. And they're now looking at, instead of going, setting goals for 6 because they had 4, there's like, no, 20 is possible.
And
now.
they're on track.
That's crazy to think that there's just that one mind shift that allowed them the opportunity to say, you know what, why stop at 10? We can do more than that because we see clarity through the information that we have in our CRM. And you have a unique perspective, which I want to talk about in a second, but I also want to give props. You just got a little award, didn't you? Let me talk about that a little bit. I just saw it last night. This is really cool. Congrats on this. Let the audience know what you just received.
I just won the top female founder, Inc. 500, which is a global recognition of the top female founders in the world.
Congratulations.
And I got named. I was like, okay, what?
Yeah.
As I'm on this list with just these incredible women, and I am truly honored and humbled to be on this list.
Yeah, very cool. I
Crazy.
saw that last night, and I want to make sure that we got that in. That's proud of you and happy for you. No one deserves it more.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome. So your influence in this group goes beyond just the CRM. You're a facilitator. We brought you on, I think, a couple of years ago. We were just like, we need a different voice. We definitely need some female representation on our leadership team. You work with top operators. You are a top operator, so it just was a no-brainer for us. Coming into this quarter, we've had this discussion before. 2020 and 2021, you didn't need to be a star. The market was a star. And it's crazy to think that we're already 4 years past that market shift that we started to see in the first quarter of 22. But here we are. And exactly 4 years, because it was March of 22. Crazy. 4 years ago, when people started to have to make those shifts, they started to really realize that, man, I need to get back in the business because the revenue, I was solely responsible for that before. And now I've kind of taken my hands off the wheel here. I need to get back into that. And you really need to focus on the pain points of leads, appointments, contracts, and then closing those contracts. And if we're going to add a fifth, it's then however you exit that property, right? Whether it's dispo from a wholesale standpoint, fix and flip, new construction, whatever, right? It's the acquisitions piece of it in that framework. In the now 2.5 days that you've been here, you facilitated a room yesterday, you've been on the main stage. Is there a consistent that you're seeing where people have the biggest pain points and where people have been helping each other? Have you seen that? And if so, what could you report back to us?
Yeah, I think this event has been really about deep operational efficiency. And I'm so happy to see it because, like you said, I think the real estate investment game has been a sales and marketing game for a while. And you could kind of be a little bit of a cowboy, cowgirl, and go out there and sling some deals and make good money, which is kind of the blessing with real estate. Like, you can make $20,000 to $50,000 a deal, and you can cure a lot of evils with that, like with getting, quote, lucky.
Sure.
And again, there's a lot of hustle that makes you luckier, right? So I don't want to downplay that at all. But I think the folks that have done well survived. Not only survived, but then thrived are the people who have laid that groundwork. And so now we're years later and into it. And I think everybody now is kind of reporting on what actually worked because we've known these folks here for years.
Right.
So like, okay, we all kind of went through this big headwind. What worked? How did you survive? What does your organization look like now? And I think we're picking up a lot of these really cool gold nuggets of the things that stuck. And what I'm hearing from people and what I've seen too over the years from, people interacting on my platform and, getting into their businesses on a friendship level and a consultant level are those people who didn't just focus on sales and marketing, but planted seeds in every department of their business about operations. And the CEOs that are doing really well are the CEOs who have an operator, a COO, and also other operations people. And it's such a breath of fresh air to me because I think a couple years ago, that was a solution to everything. You got to hire a COO. That's it. You can peace out after that.
Yes.
You just need a COO. And so this poor COO was surrounded by cowboys and cowgirls, deal-slingers.
It's a great analogy.
And it was impossible to stay above water. So as soon as interest rates and things change, you have this the only operations person in the whole business trying to hold all these things together. And I think people who didn't pivot really, really struggled and lost a lot of money. And the people now on the other side who are here at this event talking about it are the people who had multiple operations people in their business and had this efficiency mindset for every part of their funnel. And that's been really cool to see and to talk about and to learn those lessons.
It was really cool to see day one, Ryan get up on stage, be very vulnerable of saying, look, we did 200 deals in Boise, but because we have this data organized, I was afraid to look at the numbers. And that's exactly what happened in 2020 and 2021, is that people weren't looking.
Right.
Why? Because they were making more money than they ever had because the market was the star. And then the audit is the word that I keep going back to that I've heard consistently at this meeting. Real estate is so cyclical. Like the things that we're doing now are a lot of the things we were doing 10, 15 years ago, but we have more information.
Yep.
Who said they were making a switch from it was Ryan. I'm making a switch from a marketing and sales company to a data company first because we're already spending money on all of these leads. And this is something that you and I have talked about for many years now, is that people have all of this gold. Because how often are you doing one call closes?
Almost never.
Almost never, right? And if you are, it's generally something that you got to do really, really quickly, and that's a few and far between. And you have all this gold. They had 1,000 deals, almost 1,000 deals that came in and they had no communication with. They reached out, but there was never a touch. There was never a actual phone call or a replied text message. And I'm seeing that first with the data on the sellers and the leads that came in, because you're already paying for them.
Right.
If it cost you $500 a lead, you've got 1,000 leads in there. That's 500 times 1,000. You got to make something out of that. And that shift I'm starting to see, especially at the higher operator level, they're starting to really understand that I have to have operators that understand how to get best to that data. And then the second piece of it, you follow that up with Pat and Cobra, which I know you've had a lot of influence with, and they're clients of yours and they're on your platform. I noticed that they were doing it. They took it to the next level because I had Pat on and I said, Pat, we can't go through all the things that you've done because they did it a magnifying glass on each department.
Everything.
They took it to the next level. And for those that are listening, you don't have to start by doing everything. It's definitely not what you want to do. But if you were going to start with all the things that Pat did and what Ryan presented on, if you were going to start, you've got good systems, you're on Left Main, and you've got all this information, 0 to 1, where would you start if you're talking to an operator right now that says, I'm going through this exact same thing right now, what should I do?
First things first, it's not about new stuff coming in. It's about being better with what you have. Like that is the bottom line, like cut to the chase. You don't need new, you need better. And so for the operators that are auditing their system and trying to figure out where they can get more money out of their existing database, I always recommend people to start at the thing closest to the revenue event, which is the closing, right? Like when you actually have an assigned contract that with an A to B and a B to C, and you get to the closing table and you make money, or if you're the one who's taking it down, it's you closing it. Like that's our revenue event, is when we own the asset or we sell the asset, sell the paper.
That's great advice.
And then work backwards. So what that means is you don't start with more leads. You actually start with the people that you went on an appointment with. How did those go? Because that's actually a small percentage that you win. So if you make an offer, most people are getting offers accepted like 15 to 20% of the time. So that's a huge piece of the pie. Let's just use round numbers. 80% you didn't win it with. What happened to those homeowners? How can you better follow up with those people and serve those people better? Like, are there more diversity in disposition options? Do you need to have more creative financing options? Do you need to look at your buy box? Did you just simply drop the ball?
Right.
Did you actually make an offer?
Right.
Following up with those people, that's a huge segment of very high impact homeowners that you talk to. Because we're not even talking yet about people who are even qualified. Like we're talking about 80% of the people that you went on an appointment with and made an offer did not accept it. If you just concentrate on that first, you're going to win. And then you just kind of move your way up. Like, what about the people that were qualified but never had an appointment attended?
Right.
How can you attend more appointments? How can you get those people back on the books? And then you go further. How can we qualify more people, right? And get in contact with more of these homeowners. And if you work at the back forward, you'll actually make way more money and quicker. Because I always give this example, it's easy to talk about new lead sources and we need to do more marketing. But if you start a new marketing initiative, it's probably a quarter before you have a revenue impact. Right? Like, because you've got to start it, because the mail's got to drop, or you got to figure out this new story. Like, maybe 30 days, but you're looking at 30 to 90 days before you have revenue impact. And like, time is ticking, right? We've got to make revenue impact every day. We've got to improve it every day. So if you start closer to revenue impact, and let's just stick with that segment of people you've had an appointment with, like, those people could be a week away from selling a contract and you a couple weeks away from closing on it, right? So
good.
Start there.
Simple, easy advice. But to your point earlier, when you have a bunch of cowboys and cowgirls, a bunch of salespeople in your office, and you say, we're going to start with auditing first and foremost, what I translate that to is, let's look at fallout rate.
Yeah.
What's our dropout rate? If dropout rate is 50%, which I know I'm talking to some people right now that have that, if not more.
Oh, so
how
many
can I make that? How can I cut that by 20% and get it down to 30%? Now we know that those are already, we own the asset. It's under contract. We know that's low hanging fruit.
Right.
And then from there, how do we go to the appointments?
Yep.
And then make sure that we have the data. Joseph Bagg did a great presentation. He and Eric Martin did a great presentation on this of really want to motivate your team. You look at the amount of commissions that their acquisitions people missed.
Could have made.
That they could have made, especially the ones you really want to get under their skin. You get under their skin with and help motivate them to get better in the sales side of things and the relationship and the trust and all of those things. They went in and looked at every deal that sold and what they sold for. And they found that a good number of those sold for less than what that salesperson offered. Exactly like you're going.
It's the worst. And you know what I love about that? It's first of all, it's critically important to do that, like post-mortem, but it's also not subjective. And I think if you don't have that data, you can fool yourself with your emotions. But well, no, I mean, they weren't motivated. They're not going to sell. And you're like, no, Betty Lou sold her house and for less.
Yes.
Or even, a lot of times when I look at that, I see we're off by like $5,000. It might as well be nothing.
Right.
Right. Like we can make a deal work over $5,000.
You absolutely can.
And it's not subjective anymore. So your team and the feedback you're getting as a leader is actually real, and you can coach to that now.
So we know what to do, and that seems, again, very easy. And to my point, I was going back to with the operations people. When you have operations people, they love doing that. They love finding that. But if they listening to this, watching this, they might not have those people in place. So from how do they get that data? Like what Joseph and Eric have, if they don't have a robust CRM, where do they get that information from 0 to 1? For those individuals, they might be doing 100 deals, but they could easily double that tomorrow by just finding out, did Betty Lou actually sell and for how much? Where does that start? Because there are some people that don't even know where to start because they are the cowboy that only does the sales piece and throws a bunch of money at marketing.
So first of all, if you're not good at this stuff, hire somebody.
Thank you.
Right? Don't just go try to be better. Do what you're really, really good at. And do
sales.
That.
Yes.
Right? If you're good at sales, do sales. There's plenty of people, and thank God made us all different because there's people who love this kind of stuff. So if that just the thought of pulling data and looking at data makes you overwhelmed, find somebody and it'll be a blessing to you.
Because they love it.
Just like I can't stand bookkeeping. Thank God there's people who love bookkeeping. But anyway, this is public data. This is readily available. You can buy it off any list provider that you have. They can give you sold data. You could buy product. Like I've spent a year and lots of money developing a product that fits right into Left Main, that you click a button, you see all this stuff. So you can pull it yourself. You can analyze a flat file, which is a CSV file, which I cannot believe we're still talking about in 2026. I cannot believe we're sending spreadsheets to each other in 2026. But I'll put that aside for a moment. You can get it, and you can look at what the addresses are that sold in your area and compare them to what you had on your radar. And that could be your CRM, it could be your spreadsheet, it can be your handwritten Post-it notes, but compare it and then get the real information out of it. But there are providers who will do this for you too that you can pull.
So if you take nothing else from this pod, start there. If you're not there, or even if you have done it, but you haven't gone to the next level of hiring that individual that loves to do that, that person will pay for themselves tenfold. You shouldn't hire anybody if they don't bring you a 3x return, but that person will tenfold, if not more, because you're already spending money on this marketing. This individual is going to make sure that you get more from the dollars that you're already spending, not spending more. We have the tendency as real estate investors going, this is not working. Let's throw some more money at this versus we've got all this information here. We're not going to sell them all. We might have 1,000 leads in there, but let's find a way to first get to low-hanging fruit and then capitalize on as many as those as we possibly can.
This is kind of like my personal mission now, because I feel like it's very normal to talk about ROAS. And people are like, I'll just spend money on marketing. No problem. I'll stroke that check. No problem. And you're looking for a ROAS greater than 3, like you said. But if you have somebody like this on your team, your ROAS could be 5x your current revenue. Not even what your spend is on that channel, but your revenue. And Ryan's presentation was just so amazing for that. The bucket of stuff that he lost was 5 times bigger than the stuff that he did. So if we can just concentrate on losing less, that's a bigger bucket than what we're doing. It
totally is.
And the other thing that's really cool is it's helpful for us as entrepreneurs, because it's really hard to do this. Like, it's scary to go out there and to put your money on the line and to leverage it. And if you look at the data of what is actually selling in your market, you realize how small of a piece you have. And you don't have to go into 7 other markets. You don't have to do 1,000 different things. You just have to be better at what you're doing. And so it can actually be protective for you, because we can spin out and create all these new problems when we're barely swallowing the problem that we have. So it can actually be really protective when you see, like, oh, wow, like Charlotte, there are 1,000 investor transactions a month right now in this market happening. In the last 30 days, 1,000 investors bought properties. You think I can squeak out a couple percent of that?
There's a pie. How much of the slice are you going to get?
And you know, my sales team, the market's changing. I don't know if there's opportunity out there. I don't know if and you're like, no, there's
That's
1,000.
opinion.
There's 1,000. Let's get 20, 30 of those. You think we can get, and then they're like, oh, well, maybe there is opportunity. So if you just look at sale data, regardless on if you compare it to what you've done, I think it'll be very enlightening to what you're able to do.
And some of the biggest takeaways that I had, if you just look at, you boil these presentations down, what Ryan and Pat did from this main stage is they showed their teams what was possible. The pie is not as small as you think it is. It's actually bigger. In addition to that, they also showed everybody in that audience that you can be in Boise, Knoxville, and Chattanooga and still do 650 deals or 200 with 1,000 that you missed. And so all these people that are in mid-sized markets are going, whoa, I'm doing 200. I could easily do 400 based upon that. And the last thing that I thought Ryan did brilliantly was show his team what was possible on missed opportunities for their earnings. What's in it for them? There was $5 million of missed commissions. Now, were they going to get all $5 million of that? No. But if you get half of that, you get 25% of that, that's $1 million to $2 million more in those acquisitions and lead managers' pockets that they're not getting today. He gave it to what's in it for them.
Go try to find a corporate job and get paid like that. You can't.
No, you cannot. To wrap this up, I would love to know what you're excited about. We're in Q1. We're at our Q1 event here in Dallas, Texas for Premier and CEO. What are you most excited about for the rest of 2026?
I think this year, we've been waiting for this year for several years to come. I think this is going to be a really strong real estate market with interest rates kind of coming down a little bit. I think a lot of us that have survived have learned a lot. So I think that we're going to see members do really, really well this year because they have better focus on operational efficiency, and there's a little bit of affordability kind of helping us out, along the way. So I'm just really excited about the year, and I'm excited about staying focused. I feel very energized after this event and hearing the progress that people have made and the ahas, and I've had plenty myself as well. I've gotten so much out of this group from so many ways, personally, professionally. Multiple businesses have been impacted by this group. And I think more than anything, I'm excited to keep my head down and do better instead of do new.
Yeah, do better instead of more necessarily, just be better.
Yeah.
The operational efficiencies, I love hearing that from you. That's what this entire meeting, I feel, was the theme of it. And yes, we're excited about 2026 and the interest rates coming down, but no matter what the market is, if you operate with that type of level of efficiency,
you manufacture success.
Thank you. couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you so much for being here. Stephanie said it all. I mean, when you're in this room, you walk out of here energized, and you walk into them, regardless of what the market is, you know you can be the best in your market because you have the power of the collective genius. And Stephanie's been in this group for a very long time, sent us a ton of members. The lifeblood of this organization is new blood that comes in with fresh new ideas, but also understands that I've got to give value. And a lot of these members, like Pat is one of them that you've worked with. I believe you even recommended to us, and is somebody that's added a ton of value to this community. So we appreciate you. Thank you for joining me. And thank you for being such a great leader within this organization.
Thank you, Leon.
Awesome. And congratulations on the Inc. 5000. That's so cool. I'm sitting next to Woman of the Year.
I don't know about the Woman of the Year, but Inc. 500? Oh, gosh, I'm still pinching
Inc. 500, not the 5,000, the Inc. 500.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's well-deserved. Awesome.
You.
If you'd love to be in the room with members like Stephanie, the other 250 people that are upstairs on day 3 here at Q1 meeting, goodness, we'd love to have you. If you're a full-time real estate investor, no matter where you're at in your journey, we've got a tier for you, whether that's Elevate, Select, Premier, or CEO, between $500,000 all the way up to $10 million plus businesses. Wherever you're at in your journey, we've got a tier that can help you get to that next level, what you're looking to get to. The best way to find out more about that is at explorecg.com. Our application is there. Fill that out. We'll talk to you on the other side. If there's a fit, we'd love to have you. If not, that's okay too. At least you'd have a conversation with somebody that's been in this industry for a long period of time that can at least give you the best path for you forward. And maybe that looks like CG in the future.
Yeah.
explorecg.com. Go there. Thank you for listening to the Collective Genius Podcast. We will see you next week.
Are you ready to scale your real estate business? Visit thecollectivegenius.com, where real estate investors come to scale. Subscribe to the Collective Genius Podcast and hit the bell icon to be notified when our next episode releases. And thanks for listening.